people out here talking about no butters, no oils, and they could swear that they have discovered the best thing since sliced bread. It's this decision, to be honest, that I don't think the natural hair movement prepares you for. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna get a little bit heavy with this topic, but it is an important conversation. I believe we should be able to start making room for in the natural hair communities. Keep in mind, this was my experience. Please keep that in mind. My experience. You can disagree with me, just keep it respectful. Make sure you're not disrespecting anybody. Let's keep it light, let's keep it respectful. I don't want to have to block anybody, but I will if I have to. I'm going to be talking about how I basically grew hate for a defined wash and goes. I don't think I hate it. I still wear it. If you went natural during the years where going natural was the thing to do. I remember girls shedding tears right after cutting off their hair just from this freeing, relieving feeling that they got. Just being able to let go of that pressure of having to wear relaxers and worrying about your roots showing. Like, girl, those days on YouTube was just something. It was something special. And it just did something to you. If you were a girly with your own relaxer in your hair, you just felt motivated. Like, you done watched somebody cut off their hair, rocking their TWA. You felt pumped. You felt like grab a pair of scissors and do yours right there on the spot. I want to say that was kind of like the beginning phase of the natural hair movement. People were doing mainly two things. The videos will consist of either rocking a wash and go, perfecting a wash and go, or a twist out. These were the major two hairstyles. I obviously, like almost everybody else, I had on a relaxer, and my hair for a while was thriving with the relaxer. Highest length I've ever reached with that was probably maybe shoulder blade, which was actually a big deal for me at the time. I was actually pretty happy with it, but I'm not really sure what happened, but my hair started breaking off quite a lot and at a accelerating rate. Like, I couldn't stop it no matter what I did. I wasn't sure what was wrong, what was happening, and I certainly was not well versed in hair. It was just tradition to just, the moment you start seeing the roots, slap on some relaxer to make that thing disappear. That's what we knew, and that's how it was. And then I remember at one point in time, I actually did not have money to buy a relaxer for some months, so my roots started showing like great, like my hair was growing and growing and growing, and your girl did not have money to buy a box of relaxers. Yeah, those are struggles some of y'all can even relate to. So, but eventually something interesting started happening, because I noticed that, especially like that middle part right there, part of it was curling, and I'm like, I have curly hair. Here's the thing, I'm laughing because that's the only way I make light of things, just not to go crazy. But this actually really sad. It's kind of like, dang, like, how do you not know what your hair was? Like, so I started watching a lot of those videos, and kind of like I said earlier, by the time you were done watching one of them videos, you felt like, I'm ready to do this. But yeah, I got all the motivation that I needed, and in 2015, I decided I was gonna allow my hair to grow out first, at least until maybe eyebrow length, before I did the big chop. But I couldn't wait. It was like there was this excitement that was so overwhelming that I couldn't wait. And so my excitement got the best of me. I grabbed a pair of scissors and I did the big chop. And I didn't cry, but I do remember having that feeling like you free from the pressures of relaxers, the pressures of like, it was just, it does something to you. But yeah, it was like, it's like a new mom. You learning how to deal with this thing that you've never had to deal with before. And it was just a learning curve, and I made a lot of mistakes. I remember on wash days trying to wash my hair, and I didn't even know that detangling was a thing. My first week of trying to wash my hair, I remember taking a brush and started just combing all throughout it, like, and my hair was just falling out in clumps. And I'm like, what? I was literally like freaking out, because not knowing that you don't have relaxed hair anymore. You can't just take a brush and start just like all throughout like you have straight hair. You gonna learn to you gotta learn to section. When I noticed that basically YouTube was gonna be the one that to teach me to learn how to care for my hair, of course I fell into the rabbit hole of watching videos after videos after videos, which then led me to all the videos that were showing you what to do after you're done washing, the styling portion of it. And like I said, during those days, it was either you were rocking a wash and go, a defined wash and go, or you were doing a twist out. I was out here doing wash and goes with my TWAs literally like every week. It's almost like I fall into competition with myself, where the only goal was to make sure that this week I'm getting a more defined wash and go than last week. And so I was no different. So I fell into that just like everybody else. Literally, like every time you saw me, I had a defined wash and go in my hair. Now, when my hair was a certain length, of course, it sort of made it a bit easier to comb through, to define it. Now, in my case, that's a completely different situation, because I've said this before, that I have way too many different curl patterns all throughout my hair. It's not consistent. There are people who have consistent hair pattern, and it usually gives them a uniform look. Whenever they're styling their hair, it's usually really nice. But with me, my hair is not consistent. Like that right here front portion is one curl pattern, the middle of my hair is another curl pattern, and then there are sections that are coarse, there are sections that are kinky, there are sections that are coily. Like I have literally everything in my hair minus maybe bone straight hair. And so my wash and go, although in the beginning, because my hair was short, I was able to kind of like get through it in a quicker time. So at that time, you know, you were still in the honeymoon period, so you were still enjoying your hair. So I was still enjoying myself. Over time, as my hair grew longer and longer, it started prolonging the process, and the curl pattern on my head is not consistent. Because of that, they are always at war with each other. They fight each other, they hug each other. So my detangling process is a lot different than the average due to the type of curl patterns that I have throughout my hair. And one of the things about defined wash and goes is that it usually leaves my hair in such a tangling mess, to the point where by the time I get to my wash day, like I'll be dreading my wash days. Like it be the time that it just takes me to actually detangle my hair. Oh my God, like I'd be in it for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I remember one time spending 8 hours detangling my hair. Now, of course, the length of my hair determines this, because I'm giving you information of what basically happened throughout time as my hair grew. So I do remember seasons where it was taking me 8 hours to detangle my hair, so much so where I would literally just have to take a break, go do what I gotta do, and come back at it. And during all that time, I would have conditioner sitting in my hair, which really was actually even good for my hair. Slowly but surely, I started detesting, growing resentment, just hating my wash day. It's just I wasn't looking forward to them at all. Certainly was not therapeutic, certainly was not an enjoyable experience. I just dread those days. And then you have the cost of it, the money that are being spent. Because if you're literally wearing defined wash and goes almost every week, like girl, like the way that I was going through Eco Styler gel, I was going through jars of Eco Styler gels like water. I remember in the beginning, especially before I fell into DIYing and actually started learning how to make my own products. In the beginning, I had to kind of use whatever was out here in the market, like everybody else. So one, you have just how long it would just prolong your wash day unnecessarily. Two, you have just the detangling mess that it would leave behind. Three, you have the money that goes behind that. It is not cost effective at all. Just that the fact that it started to take away this joy that I went into this thing with this excitement. I was enjoying my hair, and all of a sudden it became this dreadful day, and I hated that it took that feeling away from me. Now the final thing that I'm about to say is kind of like how I reach what I would describe as my crossroad. This is a crossroad I believe that every single natural will have to go through. If you're not there yet, trust me, keep going, you will get there. I do believe there's not a single natural that will have to skip this. You're gonna have to face it. It's this decision, to be honest, that I don't think the natural hair movement prepares you for. I believe the natural hair movement teaches you how to start. But once you are face to face with this crossroad, I believe that it is a decision that nobody can make with you, or nobody can make it for you. Now, how you get to this crossroad is going to look different for everybody. For me, unfortunately, it came with the news of losing lots of my family members. Basically, just to make it short, in a period of just about five to 6 years, I lost a family member almost every single year. 3 brothers, mother, father. So in 2017, I got the news that my father passed away, and not too long after that, I got the news. It had to be like maybe a year later or a year and a half later. I got the news that my brother passed away. Not this particular brother. I was not that close with him. I knew him. I've met him. I've spent months at his house before, but we weren't too close to the point. Like it was very sad, the fact that he died. It was a bit different. We weren't close, but it still affected me. And then right after that, in 2019, my mom passed. So that also is maybe about a year later, or maybe about a year and a half later. That literally made me almost lost my mind, because with her, I took it hard, because one of the things that was supposed to be the dream is to one day bring her over here to be with us and maybe leave all the headache that goes on with Haiti behind. And for her to be gone, and she couldn't experience that. That was right after that, maybe a year later, another brother passed away. That brother, I knew him, but we weren't close either. But still, still, no matter whether you're close with the person or not, nobody wants to keep getting news about their loved ones passing away. So all these deaths started piling on top of each other. And in a sense, because life goes on, you kind of like have to keep going. And I have this thing about me, kind of like, if something is too much for me and I'm not able to deal with it, like I'll just ignore it. And I don't know, like act like it doesn't exist, because I don't feel like I have the capacity to even deal with it at that moment. And I feel like with everything that was happening, that's kind of like what it was for me. Like I just felt like I was going through life, and if I ignore it, maybe it will go away. I don't know, but the final news that changed everything was when 2021, mid 2021 going into 2022, I got the news that a brother that I grew up with, now this one's different because again, this is someone I grew up with. My father was always here in America, and I was raised in Haiti. So I was raised with 3 brothers in the home, and in a sense, they basically were the fathers. When I got that news of that brother passing away, I want you to picture a dam with a crack that was trying to hold on this massive destruction behind it with maybe a band-aid or a little bit of tape. Now I want you to imagine that something happens where tape broke, and every destruction that hid behind that dam came crushing down, taking literally, that's what I can't even put this into words. That's what it felt like. Everything I was trying to ignore, everything that I was trying to pretend didn't happen. I was forced to deal with it in that moment, with the news of my brother, especially the circumstance of how he. I mean, till today, I don't know whether he, or basically they found him hanging. It was made to look like, but we don't know. He was so decomposed. By the time they found him, they kind of had to like bury him in the same spot they found him. In my country, the regulations about where you can bury the dead is not too strict as over here. So if you hearing this and it doesn't make sense, that's why. He was so decomposed, they had to kind of like bury him right there on that spot. And just the way that he passed, I think added to the whole ordeal. But yeah, I basically lost my mind. I was face to face with darkness that I've never felt or experienced in my whole life. His death forced me to face everything all at once, and it hit me like a whip. And I don't want this to be heavy. I'm about to tell you how I came to the place where I was about to chop all my hair off. I don't even remember just what was going through my head. I don't, and that's the thing, because once you are going through too many emotions, it's hard for you to actually pinpoint what's happening to you. Because I remember just taking a pair of scissors and just went in the bathroom and just started like cutting my hair, like just cutting, not any particular order, not any particular direction. I just started cutting, but I did start in the front first. I just started cutting out of rage. Like I just started cutting. And I remember stopping. Before it got too bad. God was with me in that bathroom, and the Holy Spirit started to comfort me. He was basically with me through all of it, and he's the reason why I'm sitting here. He's the reason why I basically didn't go insane. He's the reason why I am whole in my mind and being able to speak to you today and now. So it's I give all the glory to God. It's a long story. This is not what this video is for, but I wanted to give you my state of mind when I picked up that pair of scissors and started cutting my hair. Now, later on, the people who were the community around me, some people who were close to me, they thought that I was somehow trying to rock a bang. I was not trying to rock a bang. I was trying to fix the mess that was left behind in my hair after I stopped cutting and my hair lost shape. It was like parts of it was long, parts of it was short, and even today, I still haven't recovered from it. If you're watching me and you say, that girl needed a trim so bad, yes, I do. It's a bit more complicated than that. Because if you're looking at, oh, this one's longer and this one is finer, this one is shorter, if you're trying to judge that to determine where I need a trim, you're gonna miss it. Because what someone may be thinking is hair damage because the upper root parts are puffier and thicker than the ends because it looks stringier. It's actually, a lot of it is actually healthy hair. The reason it looked that way is because of what I just described to you. I started cutting in no particular direction, so my hair is not consistent in terms of length. So because of that, it kind of gives the appearance that I have so much damaged ends when that's not the case. It was hard to deal with, but because I didn't want let people in my business to know like what happened. Like I have a community folks where I go to church, and during that time, and when they saw me where parts of my hair was missing and it kind of looked like I was trying to rock a bang, and I'm like, I didn't have an explanation to give them, and I also didn't want to let them in my business, I guess, which is funny because now I'm out here telling y'all about this. But I don't know, hopefully this helps somebody. But I told them that I was trying to do a bang, but yeah, I lied. Yeah, I lied. The truth behind that was a lot darker than me trying to cut a bang. So, yeah. I say all this to say, when that happened, my hair looked funny. Me trying to do the fine washing goes just wasn't cutting it, because by the time I was done, due to the fact that my hair was not equal all throughout, it just looked funny and I didn't know what to do. And what that situation did, it forced me and backed me into a corner where I now am face to face with this crossroad that I was talking to you about earlier. The way I end up facing mine is different. Yours will definitely be different, but I believe every natural will have to face this day. Some people make this decision and they go back and they relax again. Some people make this decision, they decide, well, I'm not going to relax, but I'm going to go and big chop again. That's why sometimes you see someone, they're always big chopping over and over and over again. That's not always the case. Now, don't go out here and start diagnosing people who's cutting their hair to say that, oh, you're dealing with some issues, and no, that's not what I'm saying. Okay? I know a friend who just can't stand long hair. If it go past a certain length, she'll cut it. She'll put it back to that level because that's just her preference. Okay, so again, don't go out here diagnosing people thinking they're dealing with issues if they keep cutting off their hair. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm trying to communicate. If they don't choose to deal with it face to face, they will either relax, big chop again, or sometimes they just ignore it and try to go and squeeze past it and act like it, I guess it didn't happen. I'm like that a lot of times. Best and believe they will encounter the same crossroad again, because it will literally keep surfacing until you deal with it. And so I started hating the way washing goes was looking on my hair. I was kind of like using the full texture of my hair as a camouflage to hide the fact that so much pieces of my hair was missing, just to kind of hide, in a sense, what I was really going through to the people around me, because I didn't want anybody to come to me asking me, are you okay? Or looking at me like, the real reason why your hair is that way. You can't tell them. You certainly are not ready to tell them. Slowly but surely, something wonderful started happening. Of course, because I was not doing the fine wash and go so much anymore. You already know I explained to you the detangled mess that usually leaves behind every wash day. Because I'm not doing that anymore, so my detangling process cut about half. And because I wasn't using gel anymore, I stopped buying it, thus making it cost effective. Because of that, not only I slowly started to enjoy my wash day routine, I started to slowly as well just kind of like at days just looking at my hair in the way that it is. As I was wearing my hair in its natural state, I was watching curls in my hair, choosing where they want to curl. I was watching the coils, choosing where they want to coil. I was watching sections of my hair that didn't show, they didn't want to do anything at all, which a lot of times we want to call them as frizz. So we have products that's supposed to tame frizz. I was watching my hair being my hair without any pressure. Literally what I was doing was shampoo, detangle with a conditioner. At the time I was back home, so I had access to my hair growth oil, so I would massage my scalp with an oil and then go in with a leave-in conditioner. Whether my hair wanted to curl, if you wanted to curl in certain sections, it did that. If you didn't want to, oh well. And if you wanted to frizz up in certain section, afroed up in certain section, puffed up in certain section, I allowed it to be that. Slowly but surely, I started to gain appreciation and love for my hair in its natural state for what it is. And the pressure that was up on my shoulder to the constant wash and goes, the constant defined wash and goes, that went away. All of that went away. It just left a clean slate for me to be able to really just appreciate my hair for what it is and what it does without me bending it down to my will so it can curl whether it wants to or not. What that did, it freed me. It freed me from so much. It freed me and allowed me to love my hair for what it is. I feel like I go into PTSD when I'm trying to do wash and go. That's why I couldn't even focus to make that section be as fine as this section, and this is why I gave up here. Like, I feel like I go into PTSD whenever I pick that jar of gel. It doesn't mean I don't wear wash and goes. I define wash and goes. I still do. And I think true freedom, like just like any movement, I think the natural hair community did good. It brings you to the point where you can build the motivation that you need to get to grab that pair of scissors. There's only so far where the natural hair movement can take you. I believe that it will lead you until it drop you one day in front of the crossroad. Well, you have to make this choice. You're gonna have to either learn to love your hair for what it is, or you're gonna have to try to work around it. Matter of fact, I'll even go as far as saying that I don't think that somebody's true journey can really begin till you make that decision. I really think this is where the true journey begins. I honestly feel like anything that happens prior just pretty much just prepares you for that day, and that day will come. It will come. And if you are listening to this and you feel guilty, don't be. I didn't wake up and start having an appreciation for my hair overnight. There was a process that had to lead me there. And I believe if you're watching this right now, you're going through your own process right now. And I believe those processes are important because it literally prepares you for the day when you have to make this decision. And you may be looking at me like, what are you talking about? I'm enjoying my natural hair care journey. You are. I was. What I'm saying is that there are levels to things. Again, in the beginning, I was very excited. I was rocking and enjoying my TWA. My wash routine was no longer than 30 minutes, definitely under an hour. You can and you are enjoying it. What I'm saying is that there are levels to this thing. There is a freedom and a pressure that will get off of your shoulder when you truly accept your hair for what it is, that no amount of defined washing goes, no amount of relaxers, no amount of wigs, no amount of box braids can help you to experience until you truly experience it. And I'm not going to judge you if you're not there. I'm not going to look down upon you because you are not where I'm at. This is not over. This is an onion thing. There are layers to this thing. I'm not sitting here talking to you about this almost kind of like I found the Holy Grail and I've made it. Like, no, there are levels to this thing. I still have issues from the within that I need to unpack. Issues, whether they were taught and beaten into you by society, whether they were destructive from the bloodline, from your family, whatever, however they got there. Like, nobody's perfect. And so this is not me telling you I've made it. This is me telling you just a fraction, a drop in the bucket of what my experiences are and some of the things that I'm experiencing. I have a lot to unpack, trust me. So I am by no means perfect. I just wanted to talk about this to maybe encourage someone, to maybe stir a conversation, because Like every other movement, for example, the feminist movement. The feminist movement went through different phases of its life cycle. In the beginning, it started as one thing, and then there was a shift. So there was a second wave of the feminist movement. Today, I'm not even sure what the feminist movement is today. But what I'm getting at is that just like the natural hair movement is a movement, it's gonna go through different phases. I see a lot of YouTubers making videos about natural hair being toxic. Not that I'm defending that. There can be some toxicity in the natural hair community sometimes. And some people who are saying the natural hair movement is over, the natural hair movement failed, like just like different titles. Like, no, the natural hair movement is not going anywhere. Like any other group or any other thing, yeah, you may have some negativity. One movement is perfect. I've never encountered one. I've never heard of one. Have you? So there can be some negativity, but it's not that deep as I think some people make it out to be. I think we are at a very crucial point of the natural hair movement. I believe we've gone through one phase of it and we just need to transition into the next phase of it. And I do believe that phase is literally gonna have to be just women learning to actually accept their hair for what it is. One of the freedom that will also bring to you is also just the freedom to not be bound by a certain ritual, to not be bound by a certain way of doing things. And I also had to be freed from that, to know that this works for my hair and I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, you had a phase where there was people out here talking about no butters, no oils, and they could swear that they had discovered the best thing since sliced bread. And they were convincing everybody and their mama to try it, not taking into consideration that hair is different for everybody. Something that works for you may not work for somebody else, and you should be able to give them the freedom and the liberty to actually explore and enjoy their own journey. I usually said this in the past, and I'm going to start saying it again a lot more often now. Let's put the word journey back into natural hair journey. Can we do that? It's a journey, meaning that you're learning.